Hello people, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going through my weekly sales from last week. It is probably one of my biggest sales. It was going to be definitely the biggest sale of the year, but something has just cancelled just before I started doing this video, so I had to knock off a big massive profit. But yeah, it's still very big, and trust me, you need to stay to the end because the last actual item is one of my biggest sales of the year. And if you're thinking of next year, what new things I can actually buy which will make me huge profit, well, the last item is definitely one to look out for, because if you find one of these or anything similar, you could be making hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So if you're excited for this video, obviously subscribe, like, and hit that share button. Also comment down below. I am now monetized, so I'm starting to get money, so I'm so happy. I'm not going to be like Mr. Beast and be making millions yet, but it's a little bit of pocket money to go aside to spend more stuff, you know, at the charity shops and car boots next year. So I'm going to go through my sales today. It's quite surprisingly how little amount of sales I've had. It's near Christmas, so sales are dwindling down because obviously people want to get stuff before Christmas, so people can't get the actual items if they order this week, you know, last week. You know, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. So it's one of them, but like I said, sales don't mean profit. You know, it's all about what you sell. Let's get along with it. Let's tell you what I've got. In total, I had 17 sales. I did have 18. I will tell you about the one that's happened, but most of them are on eBay as usual, but I have done 3 Vinted sales. Vinted has been really good for me, especially this week. I've sold a lot of nice things, big profit things, but the Vinted stuff I sold this week, there is only one really nice one. As you know, in one of my old videos, it's up there. If you haven't seen it in the right screen, go and check that out. I've basically sold all my Primark shirts now. I think I've got 2 left. I bought these ages ago at Primark for £5 each when it was in the sale. And the reason I bought them because I thought it's turtles and it's pizza. So there's 2 collaborations, and I thought, I wonder if these actually sell. And they did. They'd be selling for £20 to £25 each. And that was way back when I bought them. Most of them went abroad. I think they must not have a Primark in different countries, so they've been selling in different countries all over the place. So I've made massive profit. So the last couple I just want to get rid of. So on Vinted, obviously I've lowered the price. So I sold one for £15, still made a £10 profit. Then I sold a golf mug which had a little ball in it. I bought it right at the start of the year for 20p when I was into the ceramics and the bric-a-brac and stuff like that. And yeah, it sold for £1.88. Something I bought in January is sold in December. Yeah, so I made a £1.68 profit on that, you know, but it all adds up. My last sale on Vinted, which is my biggest one, was a Pierre Cardin overcoat, full cashmere, absolutely beautiful, like a camel colour. And I picked this up. It was in one of my other videos. Picked this up for £7, but I've just sold it on Vinted for £80. So I made a £73 profit. Going to be doing a video about Vinted and my actual yearly Vinted sales, because I feel like people avoid Vinted because you don't think you can make money on Vinted. I have made some serious money this year on Vinted. I haven't even totaled it up myself. So I'm going to do a video about my Vinted sales, probably it'll be next week, or maybe the end of this week. Also going to do my yearly sales and tell you how much I made in my first year of reselling, but obviously they will be in the next week or so. So yeah, they were my 3 Vinted sales. Like I said, the rest are on eBay. And the first one I sold was a Callaway Big Bertha golf club. If you're not buying golf stuff, you need to start buying it next year, because golfing stuff is expensive. Even second-hand stuff. One golf club, if it's a good make, you can make some good money. I picked up this golf club for £5 and I sold it for 30, and this is me offering it. I knocked off £10. I thought, well, Christmas, I just want to make some more money. I still made a £23 22p profit, you know. So I pick up these regularly. Golf clubs in general, I would avoid like the Dunlops or these makes, but if you can get a nice set that looks quite clean, a full set is good for beginners, and you still can make about 40-50 quid. Anything to do with golfing is great, even the shirts, because if you get Greg normal ones, I've sold a lot of them this year, they sell for about 25 quid. The next sell is this one I can't add on this. It's my MacBook Pro. It's my own personal one, so it doesn't cost me anything, and I sold it for £150. This is the third time I've now sold it, and this is the third time they wanted to send it back, just because they can't update the programs or download the latest software because it's an old computer. And people don't realize that you can't download new software apps on an old computer. You can't expect to do something from a 10-year-old laptop and be able to put on brand new stuff from this year. It just doesn't work. That's the whole point of like the new generation. And I've put in the description, and again, somebody sent it back. Well, they haven't even got it, and they wanted it for a graphics card. And I was thinking, well, why don't you look? I mean, it's just plain simple. They probably see MacBook Pro. Oh, that's cheap for 150 quid, because you can't buy a MacBook Pro for 150 quid anywhere, you know, only my age group one. And yeah, third time, and it's really frustrating because it's me posting it and then not getting it back, me posting it and not getting it back. I'm actually quite like hoping it gets smashed, so then because I got compensation on it for 150 quid, so it will just you know, just give me the money then. But no, it's coming back. I haven't even got it. They haven't even got it yet, so they've got until the end of, I think it's January the 12th to send it back, which is going to be quite tricky because they're not going to get it until like January the 2nd, 3rd, so they've got basically 10 days after that to send it back. So yeah, but yeah, I did sell it for 150 quid, but I've got to take that off now because obviously I've got to refund it. Next sale is something I had for a long time. As you know, I've sold a lot of comics over this year, but my first ever comics I bought from the auction was some Judge Dredd. I had about 144 Judge Dredd comics, all new, never been opened, some with cards in them, and I thought these are going to sell. You know, I could sell these for maybe, I'm going to sell them individually, but I just couldn't be bothered to sell them individually, so I thought I'd sell them as a bundle, maybe 80 quid, you know. That's still well worth the money, because, you know, if you sold them for 2-3 quid, you're going to make triple your profit. But I just couldn't sell them. So I lowered them down to 30 quid just to get my money back. I paid only like 27 quid for them. So I basically just wanted my money. Somebody bought them and it's going abroad for 30 quid. But I did lose 23p on them. I'm so glad to get rid of them. You know, Judge Dredd is not a comic to buy. If you think about comics, stick with your DCs and your Marvels, because they're the only ones that truly do sell. My next sale is something that I've had for ages when I was picking up pots and ceramics and stuff, and I bought this massive box of kiln craft pottery, you know, plates, saucers, tea plates, milk jugs, and I bought it all for 6 quid. And I thought, well, these sell for around about 5 quid each and stuff like that. I still got some left. I've got them right in front of me now. I've probably got about 6 or 7 things left, and they're all worth, after I deducted everything off, you know, they're probably worth about 9p per item. So I knew I could make some money, and all through the year they've been selling bits and bobs. Some people have been buying like 1 cup. I don't know why, but I did sell a side plate for £1.50 and I made 97p. Yes, but overall I'm probably like 60, maybe 70 quid in profit over all this stuff. So it's been well worth it. You know, sometimes pottery is a bit of a pain, but sometimes it's good when you can buy a big lump of it for hardly nothing. I mean, it's well worth getting, you know, especially if you can buy something which has got like over 50 plates and cups and saucers and everything like that, and you're paying like a £5 for it. You know, you're always going to get loads of money back from it. My next item is something that everybody seems to just leave and not bother with in charity shops, and that is suits. Suits are all over the place in charity shops. You know, I mean, you know, we go into a charity shop, you go in the clothing part, and there is just a whole rail of suits. And I don't think resellers buy them. I don't know why. They might get the blazer, but they just don't bother with suits. And it's a real big mistake if you're missing them and you're just avoiding them, because they do sell. Over this year, I have sold loads of suits, from really high end, like Hugo Boss ones, to just like cheap ones, you know, which are worth probably about 30 quid. One of the makes I seem to see a lot in charity shops is Taylor Wright. I picked up a suit for £5, sold it for £26. So I'm making around £17 profit off a suit, and usually they do sell them for cheaper. I just picked up a suit recently and I picked it up for £3. They usually sell it for about 10, and then just no one wants them, so they just reduce them. What I would say is, if you're picking up suits, make sure minimum is 32-inch waist, and even 34 is probably the best and above, and then maybe 42-inch chest. I'm a 44-inch chest, so you think I'm quite like stocky on my chest and that, but there's people a lot bigger than me, you know, in size wise. So anything from 44 above is fine, and then the leg, well, it just comes how it is. It's either short, medium length, or it just comes what it is. So you just have to deal with that. But if you're paying like £3, £4 for a suit, it's well worth it. If you can get the whole 3-piece suit, then obviously you're going to make more money. Like I said, I picked up a Ted Baker suit recently. It's worth about £100. I picked up a Moss suit for £20 with all the tags. Sold that for £100, so they're well worth getting. Next, I sold a watch. First time I've ever sold a watch on eBay. I have actually sold some other watches before, but one I've actually bought, and that is a Ladio Casio watch. Iconic watch, the silver watch. We're very old school, but it's quite, I wouldn't say it's new, but it's probably early 2000s. Picked it up from a jumbo sale for £2, sold it for £27, made just over a £20 profit. Next, I sold 4 kiln side plates, and yeah, I made £6 off them. They was worth 36p, so I made just over £4 profit. Next is one of my buys where you know, these FBA ones, or what FBA people ones that you always see on TikToks and all that, where they're saying, oh, I'm going in here, I'm going to buy this, or the units are like, oh, I can make like 20p off this unit, or these are well worth, and all that. Them people, yeah, the people that don't make as much money as people say they do, because they have to sell like about 40 grand's worth of sales to make 5 grand profit. Them people, yeah, well, I went into Aldi to see if they had any carrots and stuff like that, because they, you know, they do sell. And I saw this Hulk Hogan fancy dress costume, and I thought, oh, that's nice. You know, I'll put it on. If I sell it before Christmas, then I'll sell it. But if it don't, then I'll give it to my son, because obviously he likes wrestling. That was £16 to buy. I sold it to a person in America for £35. I only made a £12 profit. So that's what I'm trying to say. When you go and buy new products from shops, yes, you can make some money, but only if you know it's going to be like quite desirable. I'll see Hulk Hogan is a legend, you know, people are always going to buy stuff like that. And of course, if they don't have that in their country, like obviously in America, they don't have that, and he was a collector, so he snapped it up. Next item I sold was a Harry Potter like board game. Bought it for £3, sold it for £12.50. Then I sold a pair of blue Crocs, and I bought them for £1, sold them for £12. Next, I sold my Nike Miki Mani Gile. It's brand new. Went to the Golden Circle or Golden Triangle. That's it, the Golden Triangle in Cheshire. It's where a lot of celebrities live, mainly footballers like from Liverpool, Manchester, and that. It's all high end. Did a video about that, and I picked up this. Obviously, he's a Manchester rapper, I think he is. I picked up for 20 quid. Selling on eBay for £90. I got an offer for £70, so I did sell it. But he has said that it is too big for him, and this was a medium. He wants to send it back, but he hasn't sent it back yet. So I'm going to put it on here as a profit at the moment, because you don't know. Some people, I've had quite a few people over the years saying, oh, they're too tight, the shoes are too tight, or this is too big, or I don't like this. And then I'm like, well, you just send it back, and then they never do. Next item was a Rojo ski jacket. It's a multicolored, pretty cool. You know this is a ski jacket by the design. Like, very like retro ski jacket with different coloured squares. Picked this up for 8 quid, sold it for 27, made a 15 quid profit. Next, something I picked up, I didn't even look at the comps. I thought it might have been worth more, but it only cost £1. It was a Postman Pat die-cast model, and it was all boxed and sealed, brand new, from I think it was 1989 or something like that, maybe something around that area. But it only was worth £9.99. So, you know, I made a £7 profit from it, but I thought it might have been worth around the 20 quid mark, but it wasn't. Next, I sold some more boots. I had a comment about selling shoes and trainers and boots on the one where I was showing all my shoes and that I hadn't sold. I was going to sell for cheap, saying, don't bother with shoes and all that, it's dead stock, blah, blah, blah. As you know, people sell shoes all the time, and I actually do quite well. I do better with shoes more than trainers, but obviously you need to get the right sort of trainers. Some of the trainers I did have are from right at the start when I started reselling. You know, some are not desirable, but some trainers just sell quickly, like your Air Force Ones, certain like running trainers and stuff like that. And shoes are big sellers. I have made so much money this month from hiking boots, from brogue shoes, stuff like that. Just because it's that time of season. I don't know if it's going to be like that all year round, but because obviously the bad weather, hiking shoes are very popular. But hiking is very popular in it, and they're expensive. And obviously shoes can be used all year round, but obviously parties and that, somebody might want a nice pair of shoes, but they don't want to spend the money, so they saw my ones and then they bought these ones. But somebody's bought these anyway. Some Chelsea brogue boots. Never heard of the make, but they're really nice, like a brogue effect shoe, but they're actually an ankle boot with you know, no laces. Picked these up for a tenner, sold them for 50 quid, so made a £32 profit. So just shows you can make money off footwear. And now, the one. You probably know what this is going to be. If you watched last week's video, you probably know what this is. And this is my biggest sale of the year. My biggest profit of the year. My best item I've picked up over the last year. And it's that Apple Macintosh computer. It just blew my mind how much this was worth. I didn't actually know how much it was worth. It had no sales. It had no people listing because it was a rare model. It only came out for 1 year. 1997. Black. Rare collector's item. Saw one on Facebook Market. Picked up for £120. And that's an absolute steal. Even though I didn't know nothing about it and just know old tech sells. You know, everything to do with the 1990s. 80s tech sells. I've seen it on auctions. Obviously, we all know about how much consoles are worth now, the old consoles. Well, consoles are worth absolutely nothing compared to proper computers, you know, especially the one I got. And anyway, I sold this to somebody in Poland for £800. I gave him an offer. I had it on for 1,000. I went, you know what? Let's see if these are actual genuine interested in it, because I had about 9 watches, or are these people just being nosy? So I thought, let's put in an offer that if you really wanted this, you're gonna take it because you know how rare it is. I gave him an offer of £800. Straight away, they bought it. It hasn't arrived yet because obviously it's going to Poland. I think it's due any time now, like in the next couple of days. After fees, I get £557.42. Absolutely best profit I've ever got, and it was right at the end of the year. So if you are thinking about looking into different areas next year, go into computers. They're all over the place. I mean, people probably got these stacked in their lofts and everywhere in the garages, and they're just thinking, oh well, it's obsolete, which they are. They're pretty much obsolete. Then there's not much you can do on them anymore unless you want to play an old game with a floppy disk, or maybe an old program, or you just, like collect them things. You can't do what you can do nowadays. You can't watch TV on them. You can't watch DVDs on them because DVDs wasn't even around. That's why this one was so expensive, because you could actually put DVDs in it. You can watch it as a TV, and it hasn't got a box. All the one thing was in that TV, and obviously with Apple Macintosh as a name, with the old fashioned Apple sign where it's like coloured, that's why it's so expensive. Very, very desirable collectors. I'm probably thinking I probably could have sold it for more, but you know what, I'm quite happy with the profit. So then, like I said, 17 sales. I would have had 18 sales if I had my laptop not coming back again. But in total, I spent £230.66 on all them items. Obviously, you take off the computer and you're looking at about 110 for the things. But obviously, I paid a lot for the computer because I knew I was going to get a lot back. Sales before fees and obviously taking off what the stuff cost was £1,233.87. Profit, well, the profit was, with the laptop, £976.54, but obviously I had to take off the fees and all the costs for the laptop and all that lot. So in the grand total, this week I made £832.27. So probably my best week. I haven't looked if it was my best week. I know I did some big ones a few months ago where I'd made about 500 quid literally in 2 days, but I don't know if it's my biggest one. It's around the biggest. I'm sure it is, maybe just pipped to the biggest one. But yeah, absolutely brilliant week, especially as it's the week before Christmas, and I just got a great load of profit. And yeah, like I said, computers are the best thing to go for if you're wanting to make big profit. If you don't mind sending off big stuff, and if you want to know more about that computer and a bit more what it looked like, go and hit that video up there right now and you'll see what I'm on about.